So in this video, we're going to give you an overview over the SAIH curriculum. We grew into it for almost 20 years, and therefore it's the easiest thing for us. But I can imagine, and Arno, I wonder whether you agree, when you're a newcomer and you come to our website, yes, you can get a little bit overwhelmed, especially with all these abbreviations and acronyms, and sometimes it's CC and then RSA, and it almost sounds like its own new language, so to speak. Yeah. So this is an opportunity, and you offered to take us through the curriculum and how it works, and what is core curriculum, what are specialty courses, and so on. So without further ado, go ahead.
Right. Thank you, Claudia. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm just going to share my screen so that we can look at the website, the Institute's website. And there I've opened it. Is it visible over there?
Yes, it's beautiful.
Right. So if you look here at the top, you'll see that's www.hypnotherapy.co.za. That's the South African Institute of Hypnotism's website. And then we're going to go here to training courses and then click on training courses. And then that will open this, this page here where you can see the curriculum, you know. And here you can see it says SAIH Curriculum Steps to International Accreditations. And I'm just going to zoom a little bit in so you can actually get more detail. There we go. How's that?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, great. So let's jump right in and let's discuss this graphic here a little bit. Here at the bottom, if you look at the bottom here, it's got an arrow here that says core curriculum. Then you've got these blocks going up like this, from SM, which stands for self-mastery, all the way through to CC5. And that is what we call the core curriculum, right? They follow on each other. Except for self-mastery, this is the only course that can be done out of order. All these other courses build on each other. I would like to use a metaphor of going deeper and deeper into the mind. So what this training does is each level, as you go along, enables you to unlock to deeper levels of the client's mind. In other words, more advanced processes that you master and integrate into your skill base, right? All the way through. And then these ones at the back are speciality courses, which are electives, and we're going to talk about them as well. Right. So let's start with self-mastery here. And if you look at self-mastery, you'll see that all of these blocks are clickable. So if I click on the self-mastery block, you will see it actually opens here to a section that's got more information. So you can read here about the course. You can look at some testimonials. Many people that got tremendous benefit. And then if you look here, you'll see there is a little icon here that says click to watch video. So if I click on here, we'll actually open a video clip, YouTube, about the self-mastery course, where you can then get more detailed information. A short little video clip has got more detailed information about this course. Right, there we go. So let me just go back to our core curriculum over here. All right, that's it. How's that? Is that nice and clear over there?
It's good, yeah. Maybe make it a little bit smaller.
A bit smaller. There we go,
yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that is our graph again. And the self-mastery course is the first course, right? It's a one-day course. And in this course, you learn self-hypnosis, right? And what makes this course so valuable is at the Institute, we always say, if you are able to take yourself into the hypnotic state, it makes it a lot easier to take somebody else into the hypnotic state. And that's why we kind of recommend that you start off with that course, right? But like I said before, you can do that one out of order. In that course, and this is also important to mention, in our training, we often go to very advanced topics early on to give you an idea of what's coming up, right? So in this course, we're already covering very advanced topics. We're going to be talking about things like the rules of the mind. We're going to talk about how to structure suggestions for your powerful inner mind. And what that means is, in order to be effective in communicating with your subconscious mind, you need to know how to structure your language, right? How to give yourself suggestions. So this course has two primary purposes. One, to give that powerful inner mind that we all have, these incredible inner resources, these abilities that can help us make life easier and achieve goals and get what we want in life, right? You can give your powerful inner mind suggestions to be able to achieve that, to move in that direction, or you can get information from your powerful inner mind, which means you can actually get guidance and support from your powerful subconscious. In this course, you also get a powerful hypnosis audio that helps you integrate the learnings from the course as you move forward. All right? Yes, that you can continue to listen to. Right. Claudia, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just, when people phone in or visit and ask about the curriculum and they start understanding it, I still say to people, when you do the self-mastery course, you learn so much more about how we facilitate the training style and things like that. And even if you were to decide not to go all the way to get 2 international accreditations, it will never be a waste of time to attend the self-mastery course, because you got tools for life, you know?
Oh, yes. Oh,
and if you think about it, Arno, if you make a super quick calculation, 10 self-masteries per year per Cape Town and Johannesburg over 20 years with approximately 15 people per course, we have had thousands of people on the course over the time, you know, from all walks of life.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's such a valuable skill set to have.
Yeah.
And I think what I also want to add over here, and this is very important, is if you have ever tried learning self-hypnosis, you will actually know that it's not easy, right? It's quite a process to master that. And this course has been refined to such an extent over the years that we now are literally able to install self-hypnosis for you. So what that means, by the end of that day, a single day, you would have gone into hypnosis multiple times and you would have created or formed that neural networks, which means you have learned to take yourself into the hypnotic state. And all that is left after the course is to integrate it. And how you do that is by listening to the audio CD that we give you on the course.
It's also the people that are strong about meditation, and they struggle with meditation. I think, I'm not saying necessarily that self-hypnosis is always a replacement for meditation, but it's just such a quick entry into meditation.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and my teacher used to say, if meditation is a searchlight, then hypnosis is a laser beam.
Oh, yes.
I think he wrapped it up really nice. And the other thing I want to say, and I'll be talking a bit long about self-mastery, but it is really just a portal into a whole new world of our inner world. Is people have ideas about positive thinking or affirmations, and oftentimes they're mean well, but they're structured in a way that it doesn't actually even reach the inner capacity.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
And this is all covered in the course. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Shall we move on?
Thank you, Claudia. Yes, so the next one, if you look down here, the next one here is CC1. Now, the CC stands for client-centered. And CC1 course, the basic hypnosis course, is where you will learn how to hypnotize people. Right, so what's important to understand, all these courses, except for self-mastery, they're all 2-day courses, and they're always on weekend. Right, so by the end of that weekend, you will know how to take somebody into the hypnotic state. And that is amazing, to be able to do that, to see that you actually are able to do that. And by the end of the weekend, you have done it multiple times. And that is what makes this so incredible. Right, so very important that I should mention is, with great power comes great responsibility. So we focus a lot on ethics and our Institute's Code of Ethical Conduct on that course. Right, so that you are able to practice and integrate this skill set to take people into the hypnotic state after that course. Right, yeah. Then after CC1, we come to RSA, this one here. And RSA stands for Resource Strategy Approach. And to summarize that is all of us have this incredibly powerful inner mind, which means we have these resources, these capabilities and abilities in all of us, right? And this course helps us to start accessing that, or it enables us to help our clients to start accessing that. Keep in mind that when the client walks into your practice, they are stuck, right? That whatever the problem area is, they are stuck in that area of their life, else they wouldn't seek you out in your practice, right? So then it's your job to take them from a problem state of mind into a more resourceful or capable or able state of mind, right? And that is what that is about.
It's like Henry Ford said, you know, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. And I find that many clients struggle with, I'm going to use two words that you won't find in the dictionary, with deservability. Do I actually deserve to have a better life, to be more happy, to have abundance, or whatever it is? And the self-worth that goes with it, or the lack of self-worth that goes with it. And if you don't start the platform right, it makes no sense of putting a seed in the garden soil that hasn't been prepared. If you put a seed between rocks, what is the chances that it will grow? You see, so that's why the RSA is such an important platform, springboard into all the techniques that we teach.
Oh yes, so valuable, so valuable. Now, what I want to add here is that from this block, CC1 to RSA, on our calendar, you typically have about a month, right? So self-mastery, between self-mastery and CC1, they're often a bigger gap, sometimes shorter, but often bigger. But between all these other courses, you can average about a month on the calendar. I do feel it's important for you to know that if you miss a course, for instance, if you miss a CC1, which is an intake, it means you cannot continue, which means you'll have to wait for the next CC1 on that calendar, which can easily be 6 to 8 months wait, right? Just so as long as you're aware of this, that they follow on each other. So you cannot jump in on RSA level. It's too advanced. You need to learn how to unlock to deeper levels and deeper courses.
Yeah. And the time period between the courses is not random. It's sometimes dictated by the calendar, by public holidays and things. But the reason for the break is, number one, you need to practice what you've learned on the weekend. Yes. You need to practice it as often as possible. We do, on the courses, have a huge practical aspect, which makes it really fun. But you need to go home and practice on other people as well. This is so important. Yes. And then, Arno, I'm sure you will tell us that there's usually, pertaining to the weekend that you attended, there could be a case study or some homework that also needs to be done.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Maybe now is a good time to mention it, that the Institute, we use something called a study buddy system, which is amazing. We actually believe in support. So there's a lot of support. So on the courses, you get a study buddy. It's something you can connect with and get together and practice. And then also, like you just said, there's lots of practical on the courses. And then we also have these groups, WhatsApp groups, and we have a forum where people communicate to get together for practice. So we've got a lot of that support. And every single one of these courses has a requirement, except for self-mastery. But from CC1 onwards, after or during every course, there's some kind of assessment, case study, a script, or something. Some of these courses actually have multiple case studies. And that is for us to do the mentoring to make sure you reach that standard and that level. You know, some modalities, you do a course, you get excited, you feel great, you're done, and now you go, now what? Then you don't actually have the practical know-how to use it. And you know how often I get that on the courses where people say, I did all these courses and I just don't know what to do with it. These courses are not like that. By the time you are done, and with the support, you will be able to practice using these skills.
Yeah, and if I may add, which is also something that should be of interest, is that we are not out to fail anybody. That is completely not our approach. Our approach is, if you do your work, then we will do whatever coach and mentor to fill in the little gaps to make sure that you reach that level. Whether we pick up the gaps now or at a later stage, there is really a nice support system here. So there might be people that say, oh, I don't know whether I can study again. I've been out of studying mode for 20 years or whatever. I don't know what it feels like to be back in a learning mode.
Yeah.
I think our oldest participant was like in her 70s. You know, it is a keen interest in expanding your own knowledge and helping others. That is the main prerequisite to attend the training.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So in essence, it's like a family. When you join our courses, it's like joining the SAIH family.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, so now what I want to talk about for a moment is just these. If you look here, here's RSA. Then here behind RSA, there are these two gray blocks, right? And these gray blocks, all of them, they are what we call speciality courses. Now, what happens is once you have done RSA, it means that you have now unlocked these speciality courses. And what I mean by saying unlocked is that you can actually do them. You cannot do these courses before RSA, right? You need that skill set. You need to know how to do certain things before you are able to attend and use these more advanced modules, right? The first one here is called conversational hypnosis, which is all about inducing the hypnotic state conversationally. And that is so tremendously valuable because some people actually have misconceptions and fears around hypnosis, right? So if you have a client coming to your practice and they are scared of hypnosis, then it makes you a practitioner, it makes your job a lot more difficult because now you need to try and get them to relax around the modality. Now, what makes this easy is when you can induce the state conversationally, you can actually get them used to hypnosis so easily and quickly. And that's what we learn on that speciality course, right? And then both of these are unlocked. The next one is spiritual hypnosis. And Claudia, I think it will be pertinent for you to say something about that course, if that's okay.
Yeah, it is a relatively young course. I think it might only be like 3 or 4 years in the curriculum. And simply because over time, we realized that there has been a shift in the people that approach us and the people that come to the courses. There is more talk about consciousness and energies and vibrations and frequencies.
Oh, yes.
And with that comes, as you like this word, unlock, there comes a whole array of things like ancestry, the feminine divine, balancing the masculine, the feminine, the chakra system, and so on and so on. It was absolutely necessary to create something, and we've done it like in the simplest way, without taking away from its power, not at all, but it's almost like a self-analysis of the client, which aspect of spiritual approach would be the most suitable. So it's, yeah, I think it's a wonderful enhancement, an overall enhancement of the whole curriculum, because even when you go much later, we're going to talk about past life and that later on, but it never really included what so many people are talking about now.
Yes, yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful course. Also very full, lots of information, tremendous value. But if you have an inclination or interest in the spiritual aspects, that's the way to go. That's it.
You know, if I may, we always play on this course. We play with energies, you know, and it is, some students know the stuff. For them, it's just a reinforcement. But when some students start picking up on energies and starting to build the confidence of sensing things beyond our physical senses, yeah, I think it's overall enhancing our connectiveness to each other and also to our clients, obviously.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, beautiful. You can specialize in that, and you know, if you just market yourself as a spiritual, spiritual hypnosis practitioner, you're going to have a full practice, in my opinion, because there's such an awakening. And yet, I think we should move on because this is so interesting. I'm not going to
They're
keep
all
quiet.
interesting. That's the problem.
Okay, let's go on, right? So after RSA, please keep note. I do feel that you need to know this. Is that these specialities, they are electives, right? It means you can choose. You don't have to do all of them. Although we find most people end up doing all of them because it's such a valuable skill set. They end up doing all of them eventually. But for now, for your final qualification, which is this one here that says CHT at the end, right here, right? For that one, you only need one of these courses. You don't need to have all of them, right? Yeah. Okay. So the next course after RSA in the core curriculum is called CC2. CC2 is also known as Advanced Hypnosis. This is Foundations of Therapy, which means there's a tremendous amount of information, right? It's very full, and it's got all the different details, the tools in your toolbox to be able to make a difference. In the old days, you would have been called a master hypnotist if you had the CC2 skill set, just to give you an idea, right? And yet, although it is so much information, it is not difficult. It's just a lot. Once you have RSA, once you have the knowledge from RSA, you will be able to integrate this knowledge, right? Okay, so that's CC2, right? Okay, then, Claudia, you want to add something?
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, then after CC2, you have unlocked another 2 specialty courses, right? Now, the first one here says compulsive behavior, and that is mostly focusing on stop smoking. Now, hypnosis is famous for helping people stop smoking, and it's amazing that you can take somebody that's been smoking 10, 20, 30, 40 years, even longer, and sometimes in just 2 sessions, you can help this person stop smoking, just like that. And that is the most incredible gift you can give someone, because think about, how do you put a value on somebody being able to extend their life by 5 or 10 or 15 years or whatever? I mean, this is incredible. And all compulsive behaviors falls in this course, including, for instance, weight loss and so on. That's part of that course. And then over here, it says HYPNOMED. Now, HYPNOMED is advanced pain management. So maybe I should just mention that in CC2, we cover pain management, right? But in HYPNOMED, we cover advanced pain management. That's like painless childbirth, working with chronic pain, pre and post surgery support, hypnosis and dentistry. So there's a tremendous amount of material and work that can be done with that skill set to be able to help people with chronic pain. Again, there's such a demand. I can't recall the statistics right now off my hand, but it's like something like 4 out of 5 people, 3 out of 4 1 out of 5 people have chronic pain. So you can imagine how much good you can do in this world with that skill set.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then we move on to?
Yes, let's move on. So after CC2, the next step in the core curriculum is CC3. Now, CC3 is all about group hypnosis. And what makes this amazing is that you can actually do with hypnosis with people in groups. You can hypnotize 10 or 20 people, 30 people at a time. And I can tell you, it is the most amazing feeling to see 30 people sitting in front of you, all going to the hypnotic state at the same time, and all starting to receive those incredible benefits, right? So that's what that course is about. And that's also in that course where we cover semantics. That's hypnotic language. So you need to understand that when you speak to the subconscious mind, you need to know how to do that, right? And that's what we teach you on that course. So it's obviously a very advanced course, right?
So what I would like to inject here is that we always, we don't just focus on the training, we also focus on the practical implication. So how will I then start my practice? That's why the compulsive behavior course is not just for smokers, but smokers will fill up your practice quickly. Because if somebody comes with a really embarrassing condition and you help them, which is very possible, they're not very likely to go out and say, oh, wow, so but if somebody stops smoking, they definitely will talk about it, and you can build a practice quickly just based on that. And the group hypnosis and the semantics that we learn on that course is similar, because this is also about helping you, assisting you in all possible ways so that you can get your practice off the ground. Because if you approach groups, you can do it in a much less costly way. For example, people get a chance to get to know you. And in my experience, and I've done many, many years of group sessions, it's about between 70–80% of those individuals in the group will then want to seek you in your private practice, because the trust and the rapport is built, you see?
Of course.
So it's important,
Absolutely.
I think, to say, to know that we have the end in mind. We want to let our graduates be so equipped as much as we possibly can, even the referral system that we have, so that you have everything you need from our side to have a successful practice.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that, Claudia. Okay, so let's continue then. So next up, after CC3, you have now reached this point, or this level, which it says PT here, and PT stands for parts therapy. And that is also the access point, or the point where you now will be able to earn your first internationally recognized accreditation, which is your Certified Parts Therapy Facilitator. Now, this course, again, I think it will be pertinent for you, Claudia, to talk about it. But before you do, I just want to add this, that this little block at the bottom here, it says CC100 home study. And what that means is that it's a home study course that you need to do to be able to earn that accreditation as a Certified Parts Therapy Facilitator. It's something that we give to you on CC2, and it just needs to be completed by the time you've done parts. After parts, you need to submit that. Right, so that is also part of the curriculum, some home study work.
Yeah, parts therapy is a typical example of how the SAIH curriculum has expanded in the most wonderful ways over the years, because that is a course that is my mentor Roy Hunter from the Charles Tebbets Foundation, and parts therapy is working with inner conflict resolution. And why it is such a beautiful technique, because it is so not invasive, it is gentle, it's courteous, and it is distinctly different from anything else. And I think we should be quite proud that we're the only training institute in the whole of Africa who are able to facilitate and train people in parts therapy. So by the time you have that international qualification, and you've done all the case studies and whatever needs to be done, you don't need a specialty course for up to this level. People, the graduates, will be able to deal with almost all kind of requests that clients may come from. For the technique that they can't do is regression to cause.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Something I do want to add to about parts there, and it's just I can't help it. I get so excited. Right. So some often, you know the cartoons in the old days. You used to have a little devil on the one shoulder and little angel out, and then the devil will tell you, like, let's say you're on a diet, the devil will tell you, eat the cake, and then the angel will say, you're on a diet, you can't have the cake, right? So how many of us have this kind of conflict, this kind of fighting in our heads about certain things in our lives? Yes. And that is what parts helps with,
and you can
to help you resolve that.
Absolutely, and you can actually bring almost all your problems towards an inner conflict. Sometimes you're not aware about the inner conflict, because the thing is, if with your metaphor, they're actually both angels sitting there.
It's true.
They're both angels. It's just the way this angel tries to handle the situation really doesn't suit me. Too much cake is just not good for me. Yeah, it's an incredible mind shift, and with all our techniques, what is so important is that the resolution is found within the client. It's never the facilitator who says or looks through and says, oh, I've got a solution for you. It's always the solution found in the client, and that is so important, because only with this kind of authenticity is true, lasting, powerful change possible. If somebody is being told to do something, our conscious mind rationally understands. Think about a smoker as an example. I understand that it would be better if I would be a non-smoker, but this one little angel really believes there's benefits for me to smoke, just as an example now, or whatever other problem there is. And unless you find communication and a conflict resolution deep within, change is very difficult for some people.
Oh yes, sure. Yeah, it's tremendous. It's beautiful. Okay, let's move on.
I just want to say that we have basically shown now that by this point, you are able to help really most people with most things that come to you, problems that come to you.
Absolutely.
And yet, now comes the crown jewel, huh?
Yes. Now we come to, the best part for me, because I'm just so passionate about this. And you'll see here after parts, it comes these two blocks. It says CC4, CC5. And these two blocks, they go together, right? And that has got to do with analytical and regression hypnosis practices. That is the most advanced part we teach, right? That is the most powerful aspect. And there's a reason why it's at the end, right? Because once you integrate this skill set, you need to know what you are doing, right? You can't be, ignorant when you come to these levels, because you need to know what you're doing. And that's why everything else is actually training and preparation for this level. Right, so here, CC4, we like you said, we're going for the cause, the root cause of the problem, right? Where we start doing analytical and regression hypnosis practices, which means we take people back in time to find the actual reason, the actual cause for why the problem is manifesting in their lives at the moment. And these two causes run together, which means CC5 day 1 is more like almost CC4 day 3, if that makes sense. So it's a complete process, technique that you will learn over these 2 weekends, right? And then by the time you're done, then the next step, or the final step, comes. But I think I need to mention this CC110 over here just for a moment. And it comes after CC4, which means, there we go, that is another home study. That is a home study about analytical and regression hypnosis practices. So after CC4, you've got the basics in place, and that integrates it. That helps you take it further, right? And then CC5, and then after CC5, you've got your CC500, which is your analytical case studies. That is your very, very last step before you can qualify. But we haven't spoken about this gem over here yet, right? I think I should also mention that this analytical regression hypnosis practices, we call that the crown jewel. I think you've said it, but it is the crown jewel. It is the ultimate. That is what makes some people think that we can do miracles in hypnosis practices.
I think it's
Claudia,
also,
do you have anything to add about?
Yeah, I think it's also the crown jewel, because sometimes when you read up, we talk about regression therapy, but the way we have expanded the technique, it includes so much more. For example, it paves the way to consider forgiveness, which is the ultimate healing that we can give to ourselves. There's the time and the place is not right to go into it, but it is a very holistic, complete approach. It is so much more than just regression. I think we should say that. And also, maybe what I would like to say, it's actually so obvious for me for the first time, is as you learn the courses, the techniques that you learn is almost the way you approach the work with your clients.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you would start obviously with CC1, like the induction, and then the springboard to get it right with RSA. You would then continue with more symptomatic approaches with CC2. And then we would recommend you do the inner conflict resolution with parts therapy. And if the client still hasn't reached what they wanted to achieve, then you would include the crown jewel of the analytical technique.
Yes, absolutely. Everything follows on each other, just like you would do with a client. I love that. That is exactly how it works.
Mm.
Right? And then important thing to talk about past life regression and soul journey a little bit, because that is another speciality that gets unlocked once you've done parts therapy. It
Yeah.
goes with this final leg over here.
Yes. And before I go into this, just I don't want to forget about it, is we don't suck the hours, the classroom hours, like this sounds like a good number. we are affiliated to the International Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association in the States, and to many other associations worldwide, which also offers our students, when they want to emigrate or whatever, or work in other countries, good opportunity to be that their training and their graduation, their certification is recognized. So
Yes.
we are under an umbrella, which is the right thing to do, where we kind of all agree that a minimum amount of classroom hours and non-classroom, like home study hours, is required to attain that skill set. So
Yes.
it's not just like Anna and I sit together and we say how many hours should we make. It's not like that. Okay. Yeah. And then you said that CC4 or parts therapy unlocks that you can attend past life and the
Yes.
soul journey. Obviously, when you talk about regression, we would need to offer our clients the opportunity to go so far way back, because what if the root cause of the problem doesn't lie in this life? What if it is in a parallel or in a past life and actually needs to be not resolved, but understood on that level?
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
And when I say not resolved but understood, that's where the soul journey part comes in. And we call it soul journey because maybe a term that is better known is life between lives.
Yes.
But that's kind of trademarked, I think. So we call it soul journey. Because energy doesn't go away, it can only be transformed. So whatever one learns in a past life can be cleaned, karmically cleaned and screened on that level. And it might not be for everybody. Not everybody is inclined to include that into their belief system, and that's totally all right. Which also leads to a very important part that we teach, that it is so important to climb into your client's belief system. You have to operate from in the client's belief system. If your client doesn't believe in past lives, and you as a facilitator may have a strong intuition that it might have to do with that, there's little chance that the client will actually experience a past life because they don't put it into their belief system. But I think the tendency, if I look back, what is it, almost 20 years, how difficult it was then to get people into a past life. Then you had a time where you hardly could keep them out of it. And now I think we have expanded again, because people oftentimes, believe it or not, from the RSA part, they sometimes jump straight into a, what would we call it other than soul experience, consciousness experience. Because even, Professor Groff says he's a psychiatrist and he works with mental illnesses. And even on that level, which of course is a medical and needs that kind of treatment, but he says oftentimes these diagnoses are actually spiritual crises. And this is the beautiful thing that we can offer when we have the knowledge of this all. We can go where the client needs or has the best help available from within. Did I explain that right?
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Claudia. That's it. That's it. And the only one thing that I want to add to past lives is everybody, like you say, has got different beliefs. And some people believe in it and some don't believe in it. And I think you always sum it up so beautifully when you say, us as an institute, for us, it's not about believing in it and not believing in it. It's about the result. So if somebody goes into a past life and it changes their life and everything gets better, that's it, right? It's we don't actually care about our beliefs. It's about our clients' beliefs.
Yeah.
And that is beautiful.
And now I want to add something, which, because there are other modalities that offer past life experiences, because it's totally okay to just do it for curiosity reasons, for example. But I think if you don't learn, and this is what we are, this is our main core philosophy, that you may not lead your client into believing something. So you need to keep your language very, very clean. You have to bite your tongue so often. And that in itself is a learning curve. And I think that's very important, that I can't stress that enough. It has to be authentic. Yeah. And then you get your final certification and you are a certified non-medical hypnotherapist. And you can come to our referral side. You can, because after this long time, SAIH has really a reputable name, and so many people before they open their mind and make themselves vulnerable, they want to go somewhere where they find well-trained practitioners. And so we have this referral site, which is very well visited. Maybe you should have a look. I mean, the visitors that watch this video should have a look at that.
Sure. Claudia, thank you. I think that's it. In closing, maybe I can just say, if you look at these blocks and you listen to the amount of information we've just shared, you might think, this is a lot. But what I find is people get in this journey and before they know it, it's over. It's just so amazing. It's so soul nourishing, for lack of any other way of explaining it, that before you know it, it's done. And you look back and you just think, wow, what a ride, what a journey. So I can say people arriving on self-mastery and people leaving these courses after CC5, different people. Tremendous growth, tremendous development. It is healing. It is, you're learning how to help people, but you get so much benefit from it yourself. And that is just amazing. That is just beautiful to see.
It's because you have to practice along the way. Have you not had this, Arno, that on CC5, that they say, when they have to practice with each other, the buddy, study buddy kind of thing, they say, I've got no issues left. I don't know what to work.
I'm healed.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a journey. And it takes up to, maybe give us a quick timeline. What must I expect? And where do I find prices?
Right. So in terms of a timeline, from CC1, from over here, CC1 to part therapy or part therapist qualification, if you go for it, you can do it roughly about 8 months, right? And then from CC1 to CC5 to CHT, full qualification, if you really push for it, roughly about 14 months. We've had people being able to do it a bit faster, but sometimes a bit longer, but you can take that. Then I think I should also add that hypnosis in children, we also cover that in CC5, just because so many people have such a tremendous passion for that, right? Then in terms of finding prices, if we go here to the top, let me just scroll up. Where is that? There we go. You'll see there it's a little tab here that says calendar. There it says Cape Town courses and Johannesburg courses. These are the two training centers, the mastermind training centers. And you can then just go to the relevant training center, whichever is closest to you, and then click on that, And if you do, you'll see it opens a calendar that shows the courses. Then to the right, there's a little button that says book now. And if you click on there, then you can actually see the price for that course. Right.
Fantastic. I think we've covered it all. Obviously, especially specialty courses are not necessarily available exactly when you want it. It depends on how the calendar is structured.
Yes.
But from my side, all I can say, if there's any questions left, you are welcome to email us or WhatsApp us or call us. If we can't answer straight away, we will call you back if there's any questions left. But the idea is that from here you can go on into the course description, and there are other videos that will go in depth into each course. And I promise the next videos are much shorter.
Thank you, Claudia. That was amazing.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Hope to see you all on the courses.